Welcome to ABA 10 Talk, a rapid-fire conversation with ABA members. I'm Ellen Volpe, President of American Business Associates. My guest today is Bob Mittleman, President of Run Bob Run and Master Facilitator for ABA. Hi, Bob.
Hello, Ellen.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We started our career together in 2004,
Wow.
which is, I don't know where the time goes,
Yeah.
but you came to ABA really before you had a fitness business. And I just, all these years later, facilitating for ABA for 8 years.
Double wow.
Double wow. Yeah, just amazing. I'm just wondering, going back to those years at the beginning, what did ABA mean to you before you really stepped into the role of fitness?
You know, before I joined ABA, or even when I joined, I didn't have a space. They used to say no brick and mortar for me.
Right.
I mean, I started my business in May of '05, so I joined ABA in '04.
Before, right.
And I had a previous career on Wall Street as a NASDAQ market maker. And got into fitness because I like coaching and wellness. And you and I met at Sandler.
Yes.
And invited me to ABA. And if I remember correctly, I said, will Dr. J be there? Because I didn't know what ABA meant.
Right.
And I came to the meeting knowing that I needed help in this world of networking / business development. And I was blown away by the conversation in the room and knew I needed to be part of something like this.
Yeah. Typically, people coming out of environments, large enterprise companies, really are not that connected on the outside. They might have internal networks, but coming out, you can live in an area but not really be too connected to it. So I could see how getting into a community really was a value to you.
Yeah, very much so. And when you invited me to be part of ABA, I think I said to you, I really don't have connections. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you said, just sit back and, follow my lead and everything will come together. And 21 years later, you were right. So, yeah.
I love being right, Bob. I love being right.
Me too.
Yeah. So through the years, obviously, you saw me from the back room, and we had this conversation about you becoming a facilitator. And I'm wondering how that impacted your life, and more importantly, after that fact, what you're noticing as a facilitator as it relates to people networking today, because things have changed. Going back all those years, networking was what it was, but given where we are in the world today, things have changed. So I'm anxious to hear what you have to say about how you perceive it and what your advice would be to people.
Yeah, when you first asked me or offered me the opportunity to be a facilitator, I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to add another thing to my plate.
Right.
And then one thing led to another, and I had one council and then four. What I really enjoy about facilitating is watching people grow. Right. And it's very similar to personal training. How many times have I heard, I don't even know why I'm here, I hate working out, this is awful, right. And I would say, I've never heard that before. Right. Never heard that before? I hear it all the time. And with networking / business development, it's the same thing. People really don't like doing it. They don't get results, and they spin their wheels. And as a facilitator, my goal is to move the needle. Right. And I really, really enjoy watching that take place. It is interesting when people repeat back, just like when Bob said, and I'm like, what did I say? I get nervous. It's almost like being a parent when your kid says, like Dad said, like, what? Right. And usually it's a good thing. Yeah. What I'm noticing today is really a big need for connecting. Now, people have always wanted to connect, but I think more now than ever, it's a bigger issue. Yeah. People are so distracted by their devices. Their time is constantly being taken up. And that's one of the top issues that came across for 2024 was time management. So as a facilitator, my goal was to really tie that in a bow at the end of last year, which I did in my meetings in December. And I've kicked off January 2025 with that in mind.
Right. So, my observation is very similar to yours in that people don't think they have the time to devote to it. But it's really the issue not doing it really the connections dissipate. And it's really important for us to really point it out to people in terms of the activity and the results that they can get by actually spending more time, not less time.
Yeah, someone once said networking is a muscle, and that someone was you. So, and it's kind of like personal training and exercise. If you don't use your muscles, watch out.
Watch out.
Same thing with networking / business development. I don't even like the word networking. I like business development so much better. Like, I don't like the word diet. I like food plan.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah.
So let's use business development. And if you're not using that muscle, which is connecting with people, because at the end of the day, business development is marketing.
Yeah. Right.
So you have to, what am I going to do? And I say I mean ABA members, and even Bob, and Ellen, to help with my marketing and to get the word out. Because 9 out of 10 times when an opportunity presents itself, you're not going to be in the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you want someone to speak on your behalf, those words, to say, hey, call this person.
Right.
Reach out to this person.
And in order for that to happen, you have to have a relationship deep enough that people understand your competency, your character, and what's possible.
Right.
It's really it warms my heart to be with you for so long and to see you, being as effective as you are. You're a great leader, and it shows, throughout your rooms. Before we end, because we're already at the 2.5-minute mark, I really wanted to ask you about your recent becoming a grandfather, and what that's meant to you, and how it really adds to your life.
Well, I have goosebumps just mentioning the word that I'm a grandfather.
Right.
A year ago in November, my son and his wife announced they were pregnant. And my wife and I always said we were going to move at some point south of Jersey. So they live in Pennsylvania. So we now live in the southern part of Pennsylvania, which is really, we live northeast of Philadelphia.
Right.
But I live 25 minutes from my son and his wife.
That's
and our grandson, who was born in June. And it's been a spectacular experience. I love where we are. We're in a 55 and over community.
Right.
This past week, Monday, my son was off from work. I called him up and said, would you like to come over with my grandson? And he came over, and I have a standing Tuesday babysitting gig, we'll call it.
Right.
They're coming over next week for an overnight with him. Or he's spending the overnight. We don't want them to spend the overnight. But it's been an amazing experience. People say being a grandparent is like no other. You've mentioned it many times, other grandparents. And it's really, really true.
Yeah.
The love I have for this child, and he's all of 7 months right now, is words can't explain it. It's just, it's unbelievable. He brings so much joy to the family.
Yeah.
And it's just been an amazing experience.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, so happy for you and everybody in the family. He's adorable, and there is really almost nothing like it.
Yes.
And anyway, love being with you, Bob. So happy to be in the relationship that we have, and we have similar viewpoints in terms of how it is we are developing our business and the business for the people that we're serving. So it's a gift.
Well, thank you for inviting me in 2004, which I still can't believe. And then, you said prior to sitting down today that it's been 8 years of me facilitating, and I thought it started about 3 years ago.
Right,
so
right. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, so again, the double wow.
Yeah. It's great.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Ellen.
More to come. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. If you've enjoyed this conversation and would like to learn more about ABA or see other interviews, please visit our website at abanetworking.com.